So what is the best wireless security camera that you can buy right now? This was my exact question about a month ago when my grandparents asked me to set up a home security system for them. And at that point, I really hadn't dipped my feet into the world of security cameras and systems. I knew a little bit about them. I knew a few brands, but I didn't really know much. So I started researching, and there were a few main things that I definitely wanted this camera to have. I wanted it to be completely wireless, so I didn't have to run any cables to like a large box or anything like that. There needed to be absolutely no fees for storage. I didn't want to have to pay for cloud storage of any of the footage. It also needed to be both indoor and outdoor because my grandparents needed two cameras and I didn't want to have to buy two separate cameras for those uses. I wanted one camera, one type of camera, to be able to be both used indoors and outdoors. There needed to be a wide range of mounting options, so in theory I could put this camera pretty much anywhere I wanted without having to buy any other separate parts. And because this was for my grandparents, I needed there to be a user-friendly app with an easy installation and setup process. And lastly, I didn't want to have to buy any other products for the camera to work. All I wanted was to buy two cameras and nothing else. Some brands like Ring require you to buy a separate hub in order for the cameras to work and connect seamlessly together. I didn't want to have to deal with all of that. And after searching for what seemed like an eternity, I finally came across a brand that seemed to check all of those boxes perfectly. What I found was the Reolink Argus 2, and all of the aforementioned things that I definitely wanted a camera to include, this one met all of those demands. All at a pretty acceptable price as well, coming in at only around $100 on Amazon. Having used this camera for a little while now and having set it up, I'm going to be giving you my honest opinion on the Reolink Argus 2. And before I even get into the review, right off the bat, I will say, in my humble opinion, this is the best wireless security camera you can buy right now. So if you want, I'll have it linked down below in the description. And a little disclaimer, Reolink did not send this out to me. I bought this with my own hard-earned cash. Right out of the box, I knew that this camera was gonna be the one. All the packaging is super clean and everything comes very neatly packaged so that during shipping, nothing is gonna get damaged. You'll find that in the box, it comes with obviously the camera, the battery, a weather cover, which should keep all snow and water off the lens if you're gonna keep it outside. There's also a bunch of mounting screws, a second mount. The camera comes with a mount on it, which can be taken off because it does have a magnet on it, which is really, really cool. You can take that off and you can put on this secondary mounting bracket, which will give you a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to turning the camera in different directions. Below all of that, this also comes with a solar panel, which I have not mentioned yet because that really wasn't one of the selling points or deal breakers for me personally. That was just an extra really cool addition. And what this does is if you plug this into the camera when you're using it outdoors, it will keep the battery charged for a lot longer than if you didn't have the solar power connected. And there is also a mount for the solar panel. The cord on the solar panel is also extremely long. So let's say you want to put the camera in a bit of a shady area, not that kind of shady, just shaded. Then you can actually put the solar panel a lot farther away. I would say it's around 10 feet of cord, so you can put this where the sun is going to be to charge up the camera. With the accessories out of the way, let's take a look at the actual camera itself. As I said before, the battery actually comes separate, so you can like pop it off and pop it back on. Really, really, really easy. It also has an SD card slot because that was one of the things I really wanted this to have, so you don't have to pay for cloud storage, although it is an option. You can just slide in your SD card into that slot, and around the back there is the port for either charging just using a wall outlet or charging using the solar panel. Some of you may be thinking, after seeing the battery and its size, how in the world is this gonna stay charged and stay working for as long as I need it to? And my answer to that is the camera itself doesn't actually stay on the whole time. It has motion sensors so that when it detects motion, it'll turn on for a few seconds or as long as it keeps detecting motion and record that amount and stay on for that long. So as long as people aren't breaking into your house every few minutes, this battery should last between 4 to 6 months before having to recharge it. And using the solar panel, that's even longer, because if you're in an area that's pretty sunny, it can really extend the life of the battery for quite a long time. If you remember, this whole thing was for my grandparents, and one of the most important aspects of some of the features that I needed the camera to have was to have a very user-friendly app and setup process. And the Reolink Argus 2 definitely delivers on that. Setting up the cameras and getting the app downloaded and actually using the app are all really easy. To set up a camera, simply turn it on or just put in the battery because there's really no on switch. You'll hear the camera make a few vocal commands. You can open up your app. The app will prompt you to whether or not you want to scan a QR code on the back of the camera or put in the fairly long code that's also on the back of the camera into the app, and that will link it. You can also add a password to the camera so that only people who you want accessing the cameras can. With the cameras linked, the app gives you a ton of options when it comes to monitoring the cameras remotely. You can change the resolution of the actual camera, you can flip the camera, you can even talk into the camera if there's an intruder and you want to tell them to get out. You can activate a siren, you can set up push notifications, so the phone and the app will let you know whether or not someone's in your house or if motion is detected. There's also email notifications, which I found to be kind of weird in the sense that they make you put in your email and password to that account in order to link it. And so that poses a bunch of problems when it comes to especially Google security concerns. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of the different things that you can do with this app. One of the features that I found to be really useful was the battery monitoring. So if you're away and you want to check how high your battery is, you can obviously do that. One thing to keep in mind with actually checking the camera's live view is the more you do that, the more it'll drain the battery. So unless the camera detects something or you want to check on your house, don't do it a lot because that will significantly deplete the battery. There's also a desktop app, but that kind of allows less functionality when it comes to actually monitoring the cameras. So I would personally recommend the mobile app a lot more. As far as recording itself, the camera will obviously record all footage that is taken, whether by the camera itself when it detects motion or by you remotely on the app, and it will store that on whatever size SD card you put into the SD card slot. It is micro SD, so keep that in mind, and also it maxes out at 64 gigabytes. Now, speaking of recording, the Argus 2 records in Full HD 1080p. It has a 120-degree field of view, so you'll be able to get more than enough into your image. And when there is a certain amount of light, the camera will switch to regular mode, but when there's not enough light, it'll go to night mode, which ends up working really well. Another thing with the motion sensors is do not face this camera towards a road or anywhere where there's going to be frequent motion activity, because that will once again falsely trigger the alarm, and it'll send you a bunch of notifications and drain the battery. The camera will also rewrite over the oldest files on the card when it becomes full, so you really don't have to worry about storage, just as long as you don't wait like 6 months to go back and recover footage that you might need. With that said, I would 100% recommend the Reolink Argus 2. You can check it out using the first link in the description down below. And if you did find this video helpful and you want to support me, I would really appreciate it if you would click that little subscribe button down below, because only around 1% of my viewers are subscribed, which is really not that good of a statistic. So if you want to up that percentage, do me a favor and hit that sub button, and I will catch you all in a future video. Peace out, guys.